Hello, this is Ajarn Ken here. I'd just like to share a little tip with you to help increase your English vocabulary. And this is something that I work with my English students. Now, I know that learning a language can be quite difficult. In fact, learning English can be quite difficult. It might be very, very different from your own language. You know, the Latin languages in Europe can be quite similar. Portuguese and Spanish, Italian, Romanian, etc. But when we move out into the Middle East, into Asia, where I am, the language is very, very different. Very different. Different structures. And for my students who speak, for example, Thai, learning English can be doubly difficult than it is for perhaps an English speaker to learn Spanish. We can see the words and we can guess the words and we can understand them a little bit. But from a totally different language, to learning English can be very, very taxing and quite difficult. There's just so much to remember. We have different structures, different tenses, prepositions, articles, etc. Now, I know from learning Thai, the tenses in the Thai language are very, very simple. It's quite easy. Once you can see it and you know about it, it's very, very easy. But for Thai students that don't use articles, language can be quite difficult to get it correct. There's just so much to remember. So I'm going to suggest to you to learn variations of the same word. Now, I don't mean synonyms. What I mean is, if you learn one word, you can learn 3 or 4 different ways to say the same thing using the same word. For example, if we take the easiest example, one of the examples I feel is the easiest, is the word success. Now, success is a noun, and we can say the task was a great success. The task was a great success. There's the noun. If we want to use the adjective successful, we can say the task was successful. There's the adjective. Or if we want to use the adverb successfully, we can say we completed the task successfully. So now we have 3 different ways to say the same thing. If we use the verb succeed, we can say we succeeded in completing the task. We succeeded in completing the task. So now from one word, success, we have 4 different ways in which we can say the same thing. Now, I know for a native speaker, those 4 sentences will mean slightly different things. But for a learner of English, an English learner, when you're learning, it's really, really great practice to use this method to increase your vocabulary. I always say to my students, when you learn one word, always try and make at least 3 sentences for that word. And if you do that, you will have a greater chance of remembering the word and then being able to use it later. So other words that we can use that have different variations, for example, the word decide. Decide is the verb. I have decided to do something. I have decided to do something. So that's the perfect tense. If you want to use the noun, decision, we can say, my decision is to do something. So from decide, we now have 2 ways of saying the same thing. Decide and decision. Other words, common words, we've got positive and positively. We've got sudden and suddenly. There was a sudden noise. Or we can say suddenly there was a noise. More or less the same thing. If we use the word immediate, the task needs our immediate attention. Or if we use the adverb, we need to do this task immediately. So this is two ways of using the same thing. The word beautiful. She is a beautiful singer. The adjective. If you want to use the adverb, she sings beautifully. If you want to use the noun, beauty, the beauty in her singing is amazing. So now from beautiful, we have beautifully and beauty. So we have another two ways of saying the same thing. That's three ways of using the word beautiful. If you want to use the word quiet, we need to be quiet. If you want to use the adverb, we need to speak quietly. So it's more or less the same thing. Not exactly, but it's more or less the same thing. If you want to use the noun, we need quietness in this room. So from quiet, quietly, the adverb, and quietness, the noun. Now just remember that we have different suffixes for words in English. So it's always, and it's another tip that I'll show you later on, is how to remember the endings or the suffixes of the words. For example, I'll just give you a quick example from an adjective, dark. We can change that to a verb and say darken. Or we can change it to a noun and say darkness. Or light, lighten, lightness. Or we have black, blacken, blackness. So there's different ways that we can say the same thing, and it's really, really good practice for you. I know that sometimes it can be difficult to know what to practice or how to practice. So this is a little tip. I'm going to leave some suggestions for you, and you can maybe use these for your own language. If English is very, very, try it individual. Try and make your English very, very individual for you. I know at the beginning it's really good to keep repeating things, but as you get better at your English, try and make English your own language. Use words that you like the sound of. If you like the sound of a word, there's more chance of you being able to remember it and, importantly, to use it. So I really, really hope this English tip is going to be useful for you. Let me know if you use this method of learning English and remembering, and leave a comment with how you use this. Any suggestions for other English learners, words you find easy or sentences you find easy to remember. Leave a comment below, and this will really help other students who are looking to learn English. And just remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes with your English. If you are perfect, you don't need to come onto this channel and learn. You already know it. Learning is all about making mistakes and improving from it. So never, never be scared to make mistakes. Leave a comment below if it's a mistake. It doesn't matter. Other people will help you and correct you, and then you can learn from it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned from it. I hope you can learn from it. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Good luck.